and thank you for joining us on Weather Out West on this Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Rich Marriott, and here's what we're tracking for you this morning. While most parts of the western U.S. are dealing with fall weather, Phoenix is expecting some wacky weather in its forecast. Ginger Jeffries is tracking extreme weather coming to the valley. And it's a race against time as hundreds of climbers are stuck on Everest after a blizzard hits the mountain. Rescue efforts to get them down. Plus, the National Weather Service upgraded the strength of a deadly tornado, the terrifying speeds it reached and why they changed. And for the first time, Washington State is ordering some farmers to stop drawing water from rivers and reservoirs.
We've never experienced drought like this in over 30 years, and it's forcing us to take actions that we've never taken before.
And how the move could reshape farming and water use across the Yakima Basin. Good morning and welcome to Weather Out West, the hour-long show where we showcase what's happening weather-wise across the western United States. We start today in Arizona where they're expecting a return to triple digits before tropical moisture brings heavy rainfall, prompting some weather impact days later in the week. Meteorologist Ginger Jeffries has the forecast in Phoenix.
I'm meteorologist Ginger Jeffries. A look at your weather across Arizona where, wow, we could be prepping for a repeat of all that tropical moisture that moved through the region just about 2 weeks ago. Now, the models are all over the place, but we want to err on the side of caution. So we do have some weather impact alert days coming up, all because of potentially heavy rainfall, especially in the higher elevations that could lead to some flooding. So what's happening? Well, we've got two systems working here in the Pacific. Now, there was concern at one point that we were going to see these two systems combine. It's called the Fujiwara effect, and that would push them away from the coastline. But right now, it looks like they're splitting, and it's Priscilla, this hurricane right here, that's going to be releasing a lot of moisture that's going to come up into California and then push over into Arizona, all because we have this engine off the coastline known as low pressure. And as that spits out moisture, dependent upon how slow this system moves across, that's really going to be how we gauge the rainfall. Now, 2 weeks ago, it was a very slow, low pressure system, and that's why we got dumped with so much rainfall. Right now, it's still a little too far out to call with any kind of confidence, but we do want to, perk up the radar to tropical moisture and rain that is coming in as early as Friday night. Until that time, well, look at this full moon last night. Yep, the harvest moon. We're seeing nothing but clear skies. And before we get to the rain, we're going to get to temperatures that are above the normal range. Here we go across Arizona on this Tuesday. We've got an abundance of clear skies, a little bit of wind around Bullhead City, and temperatures that are, yes, climbing above normal. That means we're seeing the return of triple digits in Gila Bend, right about 100 degrees. I've got 96 today in Parker, 81 in Prescott, 73 in Flagstaff, 80 in Show Low, 97 in Tucson, and about 98 degrees in Phoenix. But this is the big setup. After we get through a little bit of heat, and this isn't record heat, we are looking at this tropical moisture. And here's that low pressure system, the engine that draws up the moisture and then just kicks it directly overhead. So what kind of rainfall and when? It looks like the heaviest stuff is going to be moving through Friday into Saturday. And then by Sunday night, it looks like we've squeezed out the remnants. But as far as rainfall totals, and again, this is where it's all over the place. I mean, we have some areas that could get up to 2, possibly even 3 inches of rain. So the best bet, developing on Thursday, really ramping up on Friday. And this is for Phoenix. And we are looking at healthy rainfall on Saturday, starting to diminish by Sunday. The White Mountains could be seeing some showers as early as tonight. Again, it's fairly minimal Wednesday through Friday, but then really jumping up Saturday and Sunday. So again, that peak is on Saturday. And then here we go for the high country by Thursday. Wow, lots of rain expected, ramping up Friday and Saturday and tapering off on Sunday. So again, we're kind of easing into it, but we've got healthy opportunity for some showers as early as tomorrow. And look at this. You see where Flagstaff is? That is 2.5, 3 inches of rain. For Phoenix, we're anywhere from about, a quarter of an inch up to 3/4 of an inch, with most of the rainfall projections right around a 1/2 inch. And again, this is over the span of 3 days. So a little bit of everything in the forecast. As you can see, We've got temperatures that are pretty nice under clear skies, and then we've got clouds and much cooler conditions into the weekend with potential flooding for the valley. Weather impact alerts Friday night into Saturday as our daytime highs go from 100 degrees tomorrow into the upper 80s by Saturday.
And now we head to Colorado, where after a day of showers, the sunshine is returning, bringing warmer temperatures for the foreseeable future. Our meteorologists in Denver have the forecast.
Hello from Denver, Colorado. I'm 9 News Weather Impact Team Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin. And we have enjoyed a fall-like change in the weather. Not enough rain, snow, and wind to take all of the leaves down. Pictures from viewers over this past weekend showing the hillside alight with color in areas like Guanilla Pass. But the days for this wonderful leaf peeping and viewing and photography opportunities coming to an end. We are certainly starting to see a shift in the pattern that will take these leaves down probably pretty quickly here. The storm that brought the rain and snow over the past 48 hours is lifting to the north and east. That will allow for high pressure to rebuild, and that pushes the storm track to the north of us. So we are going to get a little bit of a break this week. Temperatures are going to warm out of the 40s and 50s where we were on Monday into the 80s for the second half of the week heading into the weekend. We're tracking a line of showers associated with our storm that's got an impact for travel from Dallas, Oklahoma City into Wichita all the way up into Minneapolis. Behind it, another wave of cool air did bring in some rain to Denver. We needed the moisture. The heavier showers now shifting south, and really the storms that will have the biggest travel impact will be east of us from Atlanta, New Orleans, all the way up into St. Louis, Washington, and New York. And there's even enough cold air support for some snow over some of the higher peaks there. For us, the snow that we did see 2 to 4 inches above 9,000 feet, it's melting. We have fog giving way to mostly sunny skies today, a nice warming trend, and that will mean that temperatures will respond to that and reflect that. High of 50 yesterday, we'll do mid 60s today. We get into the upper 70s Thursday, and that trend of upper 70s and lower 80s will carry us right into next weekend.
I'm Weather Impact Team's Katie LaSalle, and we want to talk this Tuesday about temperatures here. We started off the week, highs on Monday in Denver were only in the low 50s. Looking at our month as a whole, on average, we typically start the month with highs in the low 70s. But by the time we end October, right around Halloween, our average highs drop down to the upper 50s only. We haven't seen freezing conditions just yet this fall season here over the metro area. We start off the month in the low 40s for normal lows, but end it in the low 30s. So we are bracing forward by the end of the month at or below freezing temperatures typically. Now for today, daytime highs will be below average. We'll be at 61 degrees this afternoon, and you can see into the mountains, 50s and some low 60s as well, where it will stay mostly clear. The cloud coverage lingers for today, but our average high on this October 7th, 69 degrees. The record was 87, set back in 1934. So we're out of the woods in terms of any 90-degree days here across the Denver area as we look ahead. And we're talking now as we get into the end of the month, more chances for snow. October 18th is our average first snowfall date in Denver. It's looking like it's pretty warm and dry for us for the middle of the month. But on this date, back in 1990, we did see our season's first snow, 3 to 7 inches. 4 officially at Stapleton Airport, where that's where the official reading was back then. But I want to take us through our 7-day forecast. We're in for just some warmer than average temperatures. Upper 70s on Wednesday, 10 degrees warmer as what we're expecting for this afternoon, 15 and then 81 degrees on Thursday afternoon. For this weekend, we'll introduce a little more mountain moisture. Best chance for any precipitation will arrive late on Friday. Mostly cloudy skies still in the 70s. And on Monday, our average high is 66 degrees. We will get there, so it'll feel more like the fall season with temperatures in the high 60s early next week, but no snow or freezing temperatures on this 7-day forecast.
Well, hundreds of climbers are still waiting to be rescued on Mount Everest after an unseasonably heavy snowstorm pummeled the eastern face of the world's highest peak over the weekend. Local villagers and rescue teams have been deployed to help with the operation. Some 350 hikers have already been guided to safety, but an expedition leader says it could take up to a week for rescuers to reach more than 200 people who are still stranded.
So they're going to have to use either machines. Normally, China does not allow helicopters to be used because of military considerations, but they may use drones in order to locate everybody and then provide, maybe drop food to them and some type of medical assistance until they can actually physically reach them.
The unusually heavy snowfall during this time of the year has led to reports of hypothermia, frostbite, and rescue also faces the difficulty of washed out roads, making it difficult to pass through the many feet of snow until it's been cleared. The National Weather Service has upgraded the strength of a deadly tornado that touched down in North Dakota in June to an EF5, the most powerful rating for tornadoes. 3 people were killed when the twister tore through the Enderlin area. It had an estimated peak wind speed of more than 210 miles per hour. The strength rating was upgraded after further analysis of the damage the tornado left behind. It blew the bark off trees and tossed an empty tanker car almost 475 feet at one farmstead. The foundation was swept clean. The twister's path was upwards of 12 miles long and was on the ground for about 19 minutes. Coming up, blue meets green and a rare bird discovery just outside San Antonio. Learn about the first known hybrid of its kind. Plus, we'll take you to the Golden State where Sacramento and San Diego are enjoying the nice California weather, but storm chances may be on the horizon for them too. Researchers in Texas say they've identified the first known wild hybrid between a blue jay and a green jay. According to a study published earlier this month in the Journal of Ecology and Evolution, the unusual bird was spotted in 2023 near San Antonio. Researchers say it carries the traits of both species, blue feathers and white spots on its wings like a blue jay, but markings and vocalizations of a green jay. Genetic testing confirmed the offspring came from a male blue jay and a female green jay. Scientists believe this hybrid is the result of the 2 species' habitat ranges overlapping for the first time, driven in part by climate change. They called the discovery a biological curveball since blue and green jays are not closely related and usually form long-term bonds within their own species. Only one other example of a blue jay-green jay hybrid exists. It was born in captivity in the 1960s. And now we'll head to San Diego where they're enjoying some cool temperatures, but rain chances are on the horizon starting Thursday. Meteorologist Vanessa Paz has the details.
Happy Tuesday from San Diego, California. I'm CBS 8 meteorologist Vanessa Paz. Well, if you didn't catch a glimpse of supermoon last night, harvest supermoon, you still have a chance to get a glimpse of the moon, although it had peaked last night. It will still appear full for the next couple of days. Viewers for submitting this photo in. We got great photos overnight from several viewers who got a glimpse of the supermoon. And just an FYI, this is the first of a series of supermoons to wrap up the year. All right, here are the weather headlines as we get our Taco Tuesday going. Mild conditions will persist all the way through the first half of the week, and then things are going to switch gears looking ahead to Wednesday, lasting all the way through the weekend, all due to a hurricane that's currently brewing off the coast of central Mexico, making its way towards the Baja Peninsula. This is going to bring us the chance for showers as early as Thursday. We're also looking at a slight climb in daytime highs, and then we'll have cooling by the time we get to the weekend. As we take a look at today's highs, we will produce low 70s for areas along the coast. For the inland valleys, we'll shape up in the high 70s, low 80s, and for the desert areas, we'll top out in the mid 90s with plenty of sunshine to go around. As of Tuesday morning, this is currently where Hurricane Priscilla is, and it has strengthened into a Category 2. Yesterday, it was at a Category 1. So as it enters those warmer waters, it will continue to gain momentum. Winds within the system are now ramped up to 110 miles per hour. It is also moving a little quicker. Yesterday, it was moving at about 5 miles per hour, now about double at 10 in a direction of northwest. As we take a look at the big picture and showcase what this is going to do for us here in Southern California, it will deteriorate once it enters the cooler waters closer to the Baja Peninsula, and when it does, we will feel the impacts of it in terms of its outer band. So we're looking big picture at some shower activity as early as Thursday, but it looks like the most widespread showers will be Friday But a lot of the activity and that instability will be confined to the county's eastern half, so mainly along the mountain areas, and this could trigger flash flood warnings depending on if we see pop-up thunderstorms in addition to the showers that we're expecting. That rain continues to linger into Saturday. As of right now, the timing and total still uncertain. Again, these models will change the closer we get to the second half of the week. Here is the day-by-day chance of rain for the mountain area. Slim to none all the way through Wednesday. Notice how it starts to rise Thursday, peak activity Friday, and then it starts to drop by the time we hit the weekend. Temperatures at that same time will also start to fall. Highs for Wednesday afternoon, we're looking at mostly mid to low 70s. Quite a cool day, especially along the coastal areas, even a little cooler than average for the inland valleys. We'll be hitting highs close to 80 degrees. 72 meanwhile in Chula Vista is what I'm forecasting for tomorrow afternoon. 80s for Ramona as well as Julian, and we'll be expecting mid 90s for our desert communities. Here's what's on tap over the next 7 days along the coast and inland valleys. We do see a slight rise in daytime highs for the coastal communities all the way through Friday, and then we shoot back down to the low 70s by the time we hit the weekend. For the inland valleys, the warmth peaks on Friday. We're not looking at extreme heat by any means, but it won't be feeling too much like fall. And in addition, those relative humidity levels will see a climb, so you can expect it to feel a little sticky outside Thursday and Friday. A lot of those tropical-like conditions rebound or return, I should say. High 70s, so we cool down by the time we get to the weekend, and we actually stay cool with that cooling pattern all the way through next week. Here's what's on tap for the mountains and desert areas. We'll be in the low 70s all the way through Thursday. A slight climb Friday into the weekend. Saturday and Sunday for the county's eastern half are looking like some of the warmest days. We're talking 90s this weekend for the desert areas, and then everyone starts to feel noticeable cooling by next Tuesday.
Well, let's head up I-5 to Northern California, where temperatures are trending warmer today and expected to come down for the weekend. Brendan Minchef has Sacramento's forecast and is tracking a possibility of showers for the weekend.
Hey, meteorologist Brendan Minchef here in Sacramento, and it is sunny. Sacramento, Northern California, enjoying a very mild start to the work week, even warm by early October standards. For the coast, it'll be mild and it'll be sunny. Not looking at any coastal fog or marine stratus to start this week. Of course, we're working into Tuesday. I'm still calling it starting this week because we still have a ways to go until the weekend. But warm and sunny across the valley and foothills, mild to cool across the Sierra. But sunshine dominates for today. And it did yesterday as well. But that was not the case earlier this month. We were in the low to mid 70s across much of the valley, some upper 70s to about 80 through the weekend. Those were all below normal for the time of year. Then Monday we jumped up to about 87. And that's where we're going to be once again this afternoon. But again, once we start talking about the end of the week, we're looking at a pattern change that's going to bring us back down into the low 70s. We're comparing the start of October of this year to last year because 2024 was very hot. 101 degrees, 102 degrees, and 100 degrees the first 3 days of October of 2024. But October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of this year in Sacramento, we're in the 70s. That was anywhere between 23 and 28 degrees cooler than the start of the month last year. So a lot more fall-like so far for this start of October compared to last year's start of October. But it's not feeling exactly like fall today because we are going to be on the warmer side of things. 60s and low 70s across the Sierra, 80s to about 90 degrees across the central Sierra foothills as we head into the southern Sierra. Looking at some upper 70s for places like Pinehurst, and then as we look at Sequoia, Kings Canyon, those mid 70s. Then we've got some 80s to 90s in the valley. So definitely on the warmer side of things for this time of year. 91 in Hanford, out along the coast, sunny and mild. 67 in Morro Bay, 75 in Big Sur, even Monterey, 70 degrees. Santa Cruz, 70 degrees. Maybe a little bit of cloud cover near Monterey. That's it. Everywhere else, even along the coast, I'm expecting to be sunny today. 73 Pacifica, 76 in San Francisco, 80 in Oakland and Berkeley, and 92 in Vacaville, 92 in Fairfield as you work your way inland towards the valley. 89 in Napa. Across the far northern part of the state, upper Sacramento Valley, looking at upper 80s to low 90s. 76 in Mount Shasta. Shasta, 71 even in Eureka. And again, the forecast calling for sunny skies, 71 in Fort Bragg. Over at Lassen National Park, 67 and 74 over in Chester. Now back to the capital region across the valley, upper 80s to low 90s, 90 in Modesto and Stockton, 90 in Galt, 90 in Elk Grove, about 87 in Sacramento, 91 in Davis this afternoon. As we look at the weather pattern, had a little cutoff low. That's going to start to go away, and our next system drops in by the time we get to Thursday and into Friday. By Saturday morning, we could see even some light flurries across the high passes of the Sierra, and temperatures are coming down with it. We go from the upper 80s to low 90s all the way down into the low 70s by the end of this week. So as we take a quick look at Futurecast, sunny skies the next few days, a little bit of cloud cover, a few clouds across the valley. For Wednesday, some light showers across the far northern part of the state. But then here comes that next system bringing us a chance for showers in the capital region. And by the time we get to late Friday into Saturday morning, chance for some flurries across places like Donner and Echo Summits. 6 to 10 day climate outlook, very likely warmer across much of the central U.S., but for the western U.S., including here in Northern California, very likely cooler than normal. Over the next 3 days, we start that cooling trend. Temperatures drop into the low 70s with a chance of showers by the end of the work week.
And for the first time ever, the state of Washington is ordering farmers and ranchers around Yakima to stop using water from rivers and reservoirs. After the break, we'll tell you why the area is struggling to keep water in them.
This is the first sign of a serious drought as you drive on I-90 from Seattle to Yakima. We're standing at what is supposed to be the boat ramp into Ketcheles Lake. You can see the surface level is all the way down there and the dramatic slopes against I-90. From the water to the market, Washington is feeling another historic drought.
The Department of Ecology is saying that there should be a curtailment of water rights, which is insane to even think of.
The fruit comes from grower Mark Barrett, who's invested in drip irrigation and sprinkler systems to get every drop while already conserving water at his Yakima orchard.
The Department of Ecology needs to spend more time figuring out how they're going to get more water in storage, more conservation maybe. Need to figure that part out, not the water rights of farmers.
This is the state letter heading to mailboxes across the valley. Ignoring these steps would lead to smaller crops, less money for farmers, and mean less water for the rest of us.
We've never experienced drought like this in over 30 years, and it's forcing us to take actions that we've never taken before.
The State Department of Ecology says it's underscoring the urgent need for storage projects and conservation plans.
Water is scarce. We need to conserve, and we need to start making investments in water supply investments to address the impending climate change impacts on our water.
This winter, heavy rain and snow will make a world of difference.
We're diligent to make sure that we are actually using water the way we should and conserve it.
The state is working with the federal government to monitor water flows. That will determine if they need to extend this historic stoppage. In the meantime, the State Department of Ecology is monitoring diversions to make sure no farmers or ranchers use any of the surface level water. Alex McClune, King 5 News.
Well, coming up in the next half hour, we'll have more environmental stories like this one, plus the forecast for the Pacific Northwest. Stay with us. Last night's supermoon lit up the skies. Here are some pictures viewers sent in from Ashley Patsy, Kristen Rout, and Carmen Kaplan. Beautiful shots looking out there towards that full moon last night, and definitely it was super if you got out and got a chance to see it. Thanks to everyone who shared their photos, and if you didn't get a chance to catch it, don't worry, there'll be another supermoon in November and another one in December. And in case you're wondering what makes it a supermoon, it actually has no astronomical significance. It is an astrological term that was invented by an astrologer back in the 90s. And basically it's come to mean that whenever the moon is within about 10% of being its closest to the Earth in its orbit, and there's a full moon, that it could be as much as 14% larger than normal at that point, and so it's just called a supermoon. They also have micromoons when it's at the farthest away, from the Earth in its orbit. So got a little bit of both, but that being a little brighter and a little bigger, and actually having clear skies around parts of the west, it was really a beautiful evening to be out and about, and that moonlight really lit things up overnight last night. And thank you for sticking with us here on Weather Out West. Here's what we have for our back half hour coming up. A new study says a medical device is adding to a global issue, how inhalers are contributing to climate pollution. Plus, this year's wildfire season has been difficult, why these furry friends were out on the fire lanes in central Washington. And we resume your weather forecast with Portland, where meteorologist Ron Hill is tracking some beautiful weather today before they too will see the return of some wet conditions.
Oh my, what October weather. I'm Rod Hill coming to you from Portland. With the clear skies, we had some cool numbers again this morning. Overall, not as cool as we were 24 hours ago. Remember 24 hours ago, Portland dipped to 45, which at the airport, the coolest number we have had so far this fall. This morning it was 50 at PDX. Hillsboro got down to 43, Aurora 45. And this is interesting. Notice Hillsboro 43. All right, clear skies. Well, it's clear in Troutdale, and they had a 60 for a low. Why the difference? Because east winds gusting to 30 miles per hour out of the gorge along the Columbia kept Troutdale's air temperature from sinking. So it held steady about 60 through the night. No wind at all out in Hillsboro, and it was 43. So it was one of those, kind of wacky mornings because of the topography and the wind pattern. So we had variances in the temperature of just about 20 degrees. Now, we're all going to be more closely together, if you will, this afternoon as temperatures get back up into the 70s. We are watching a developing low out into the Pacific. That will turn into a big low that will park itself offshore and give us our first chance of rain shower activity tomorrow overnight into Thursday. So enjoy today. Pattern's going to be changing. Now, this shows you Thursday's rain potential. Notice it doesn't give anything measurable up and down I-5. But it does show some light rain amounts at the coast and also up into the Cascades. So again, the shower chances in the forecast Wednesday, overnight, Thursday. Friday, I think we have more widespread likely showers. And then I'm adding Saturday and Sunday's rain numbers to this map as well. And for the weekend, I think it's potentially going to be raining more Saturday than it won't be, and raining more Sunday than it won't be. Some periods of steady rain. Still, with all that said, 4-day totals, coast and valley, if this is right, are generally about a half of an inch. Closer to an inch up in the Cascades, maybe a half of an inch of rain, a quarter to a half of an inch of rain in central Oregon, at least some widespread rainfall across the entire region. Futurecast shows off the clear skies today at 5 o'clock, brings in a partly cloudy start tomorrow morning. It keeps us dry. Really, depending on where you are, kind of partly to mostly sunny. Here's that first wave of shower activity approaching the coast tomorrow evening. And then we get some cloudiness on Thursday, with temperatures continuing to cool down somewhat, and at least a chance of some scattered showers. But you saw the modeling's not picking up much. So if you have outdoor plans Thursday and you really need it to be dry, or you want it to be dry, fingers crossed, maybe you will be dry at your place. Okay, our cameras are spectacular like they were yesterday. Here's our Lincoln State Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera. We had temperatures go as warm as 74 along the Oregon coast yesterday. How about that? Notice the trees at the bottom of the screen blowing. We've got some east winds up at Timberline, but great visibility. There's Jefferson. There's Three Sisters sticking up down in central Oregon, just clear skies. Our beautiful state capitol, and we're picking up a little bit of fall foliage color as well as we look at the Capitol Mall down in Salem. Downtown Portland and Vancouver. Also, this is the Springs of the Waterfront camera in Vancouver looking at the Columbia, just perfectly clear. And there's the downtown shot. Haven't seen much of that east wind make it into Portland. So if you are coming into the city today, it's very possible the wind kind of stays out closer to the Columbia or out of the main city core itself. Salem, look at these numbers. Not records. Records, you still got to get well up into the 80s this time of the year. 79, though, in Salem. And we're looking at upper 70s in Southwest Washington today as well. This shows 78 degrees in Vancouver. The coast could hit 70 early afternoon, and then the winds today will actually stop being from the east and they'll veer to the west, and that will start dropping temperatures somewhat. But up and down I-5, look at 80 in Eugene, down at the U of O. Wow, really warm stuff. And 77 in Bend. Central and eastern areas of our state will be a little bit warmer than 24 hours ago. Here are the 7-day numbers for Portland. 78 today, a cooler 66 tomorrow. That rain chance starts on Thursday.
Well, here in Seattle, all attention is actually focused away back towards Detroit, where they may be seeing some rain today for the Mariners Game 3 back there, and a lot of concern about that getting delayed. But when we stop and look outside, it's going to be hard to just sit down and watch the game because beautiful weather. We have one more day of summer weather around the Seattle Puget Sound region, and then it's going to drop off about 10 to 15 degrees as we head into the end of the week, and the showers will be returning just like they should this time of the year. Hi, I'm King 5 meteorologist Rich Marriott, and well, we're looking east for our weather today. East in the sense that the Mariners Game 3 in Detroit back there today, and it's raining. This is a peek from the Hudson Cafe and Route bar looking down into Comerica Field. You see they've got the tarp over the infield right now, and the rain is coming down mid-morning. You can see there's a front that's pushing through there. Expect to see some thunderstorms along with the rain that's coming down right now. It does look like that the band is going to be moving right on through just about game time at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific time today. So the rain may let up, so they may still get that game underway, but it may be delayed a little bit, but we'll keep close watch on that. We've got the showers around today, but for the Game 4 on Wednesday, looking pretty good. Nothing but sunshine. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s. A little bit closer to home, no problems if we're here in the Pacific Northwest, as we've got clear skies. It was a beautiful morning with a lot of moonlight out there on that Bellingham Tower Cam. Now it's sunlight out there. And you see there and everywhere, there's a little bit of haze in the air. We did see a little bit of wildfire smoke come over the Cascades yesterday with that offshore flow, but we're switching to onshore today, which is going to help to push that haze right back out again as we head towards later today and on into tomorrow. Our first alert 7-day forecast shows this is the last really warm day. We're going to be in the 60s to the low to even some mid 70s today. We're going to drop off 10 to 15 degrees as we head into Wednesday for our highs. As a little weak front's going to move through, not very much in terms of any rain in it, but it is definitely bringing in some cooler air. And then we're going to be in a position where we're going to see these systems brushing by us and move even a little bit more directly at us as we head towards the weekend and staying below normal for our temperatures. Satellite image shows that big area high pressure still with us, but it's weakening and moving on to the east right now. It's going to allow this front to move through. Like I said, it doesn't have much in the way of any rainfall in it. You can see it's not much to that front, but a lot of cool air behind it, and that is going to drop those temperatures and keep them below normal, it looks like, all the way into next week. Taking a look at the view there in terms of our alerts. We do have an air quality alert over there on the east side around Douglas and Chelan counties, but it's actually concentrated. The real alert is really along the US 2 from Kashmir down through Wenatchee and East Wenatchee. That's where they have unhealthy air quality. Away from there, they have good to unhealthy for sensitive individuals for most spots. So you can see on the smoke model that it's really concentrated there around the Wenatchee area itself. Here on the west side, we get cleared out pretty quickly. And the good news with those winds that are going to come off the onshore winds, it is going to help them ventilate better over on the east side, which should improve their air quality as we head into tomorrow. Today, we're going to see good most places on the west side, but a few places near the Cascades and South Sound will be down into the moderate range. And then over on the east side, unhealthy for people right there in the lead of the fires. And then as we head towards tomorrow, good up and down Puget Sound and then into the moderate range, except right near the fires, it'll be unhealthy for sensitive individuals. Take a look at those forecast high temperatures for today. A little like summertime, mostly in the mid to upper 60s north of Seattle, Seattle southward in the low to mid 70s. Big drop as we head into tomorrow. Those high temperatures in the upper 50s and low 60s. In fact, only mid 50s up there around the Bellingham area. And overall, we're going to stay in that cool pattern over the weekend. Just a slight chance of a shower Wednesday, a little bit better chance on Thursday, slight chance on Friday, and then showers and sun breaks on Saturday, partly sunny with showers around on Sunday into Monday, and those high temperatures staying in the upper 50s and low 60s. Oh, well, he actually looks pretty good in a uniform, don't you think? Millions of Americans who struggle with chronic lung disease, including asthma, may be adding to a global issue. According to new research, medication inhalers sprays are a substantial contributor to planet warming pollution. Experts say it's not the medicine that's the problem, but the propellants known as HFAs. When the chemical is released into the air, HFAs trap heat in the atmosphere and cause problems. A new study says the impact of pollution from the inhalers was the equivalent to driving more than 500,000 cars per year. Research showed that concerted efforts to reduce traditional inhaler use can make a difference. Rain seems to be becoming the new theme, and we're ready for it, and they're ready for it in Utah. They're gotten ready how a family took advantage of a downpour. We'll have that coming up after the break. A Utah family decided to make the most of the mud and water after some record rainfall. After seeing her kids play in the water that was flooding her yard, Stacy decided to fully embrace the rain and do it one better. She grabbed a ski rope and board and put it on the back of her car, and off they went. Her brother even put on a wetsuit and joined in the fun.
I was careful. I'll say I was careful, but I think sometimes we're too careful in this world. So I think a little bit of excitement's okay.
For Spokane, but not nearly as heavy and not until the end of the week. We'll have the forecast coming up.
I'm meteorologist Thomas Patrick in Spokane, Washington. We have an absolutely stunning forecast for this week. Could be some of our warmest days left of this entire year because October at some point is going to get a lot colder, but it's not this week. That sunshine overhead, in this case at Silver Mountain in North Idaho, just looks absolutely beautiful. The sky is perfectly blue outside. This is just a week to take in. Yes, it's still going to be cold in the morning with 40s and 30s to start the day. Sweater weather, if you will. But it's a great opportunity to wear the sweatshirt in the morning, be able to take it off by the afternoon, especially with highs in the 70s. That is pretty decently above average for this week. Our average tends to plummet through the month of October as we go from about 70 degrees to start the month to even upper 40s by the end of the month. We technically drop 18 degrees in terms of the average from the start to the finish. So the average today is 63 and we're at 71. That's actually warmer than it was yesterday, and we're warming all this week to the point where we're going to be about 10 to 15 degrees above average by the end of the week. These days in the 70s will be fleeting, but this week they're at least consistent. So today, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday should all be in the 70s. Basically the same forecast each and every day. Sunny during the day, clear at night. Was beautiful to see the October full moon. This was my vantage point at our South Hill studios in Spokane, Washington. We'll take you to the LC Valley as well. Beautiful shot just before sunrise, or technically just before moon set at the same time. Awesome photos of that bright full moon, which was likely clearly in view really anywhere across the West Coast. I'm sure that all of our meteorologists from Denver to Southern California and up into the Pacific Northwest have a very similar story for you. A lot of sunshine and a lot of warmth. A lot of that is coming from this ridge in the jet stream. It is arcing over British Columbia and Alberta. If you're underneath it or to the south of where that jet stream lies, you're probably experiencing some plenty warm weather. And the sunshine coupled with that really starts to amp up, especially for an area like Spokane. So I had kind of mentioned this. It's 70s today. Those 70s carry all the way through Friday. For those in Spokane, and I take very careful notes of my forecast here, I did ease back on how warm Thursday is going to be. Yesterday I had it at 78. Today I bumped that down to 74, but still mid-70s in October is absolutely beautiful. It's very, very much warm for the season. So here's all that quiet weather across the West Coast, but it won't last for the whole week here. Starting around Friday and Saturday, we'll start to watch this cut-off low-pressure region. Basically, this low-pressure area will start to self-contain. If it's cut off, it's usually slow to move, but with a gentle jut eastward and into Oregon and Washington, this is going to change our weather pattern big time heading into Saturday. Spokane may start to see the rainfall as early as Friday, but the weekend weather is where this really changes. Scattered showers both days, and those high temperatures no longer in the 70s. They actually skip a step all the way into the 50s, and it keeps getting colder and colder here. 54 is the high on Sunday, low temperature 39 with scattered showers in the region. Some of our snow levels may be as low as 4,000 feet, meaning that the mountains will see likely their first snowfall on their peaks for this season. That is the second half of the fall weather that is going to quickly rush into play here. So again, we go from 70s to 50s.
Well, last but not least, we send it to Hector Mendoza in Boise, where they're having cool mornings and mild days all the way until the end of the week.
Hello, my name is Hector Mendoza, forecasting out of Boise, Idaho, and we had a beautiful, beautiful setup last night as we had that full moon, that harvest moon that we saw there lighting up the autumn night. This one sent into our Idaho Weather Watchers Facebook page by Debbie Diamond. A beautiful photo there. You can see just the color on that moon. A bit of a different view here there as you can see the mountains and that moon right on top on full display out in the October sky out in Pocatello. And this posted again, all of these pictures we got are posted on our Idaho Weather Watchers Facebook page, and lots of folks sent in lots of different photos. So again, only being able to showcase just a few of them, but these are one of the ones that kind of caught my eye here as we look out in Stanley out into the mountains. There we see that light shining and reflecting off of that water. So thank you so much, TC, for posting this. And again, it was a beautiful night there, and we'll continue to see some of the cooler temperatures that we saw from the overnight hours in through the next couple of mornings. Then we're going to see a little bit more of the warmer afternoons coming along all the way through Thursday. And we stay relatively quiet all the way through Friday, as we're not going to start to see some of those changes come along till late Friday. And then it really, really impacts our weekend as we have major changes coming along with a chance to see some of the snow out in portions of those mountains. So I'll get into that in just a bit. But as we look at some of the low temperatures early on this morning, stayed into the upper 40s here through Boise. Other spots got down into the upper 30s. And then right at that sort of temperature where we start to see some of that frost development. And because of that, we had a frost advisory early on with a freeze warning that continued all the way through eastern Idaho through this morning. But we're going to continue to see that those temperatures will climb up just a bit. And look at Stanley and look at McCall as we're into the 20s there for some of those mountain spots. But again, as we look on ahead, we're going to start to get further away from some of those frost temperatures and some of those freeze temperatures. So into the mid 50s there by Friday. Then we'll notice another dip in temperatures. We do have a system and a cold front that come in that drop our temperatures down, and we start to get closer there into the beginning of next week as we look on into Monday, expecting to hit 38 degrees. But these are going to be the views we see here into the next couple days. Looking at our satellite and radar picture, not much in terms of activity, no clouds in the sky, not much in terms of precipitation. So we stay calm and pretty quiet into the next couple of days. So with that, we have that ridge that's going to bring us some of the warmer temperatures. So if you have a pumpkin patch on that checklist for things to do here in through Thursday, temperatures will be into the 80s, so pretty comfortable. Might need a light jacket there and through the afternoon. So even though we see the warm up, we could see some of the cooler temperatures start to come along as we see some of those breezier conditions. And then again, after that Thursday, we start to see a little bit more of that activity with the system that drops in from the south hitting the coast, and then it'll be make its way inland there by Saturday. So we are going to see that with this system, we see those chillier temperatures with the system and that cold front that comes in, and it significantly drops our temperatures there from Friday all the way through the weekend. That continues pretty cold, and then that continues all the way through Monday, and then we're going to see those showers really start to kickstart along that front. So as we look here at our 7-day forecast, we'll notice that some of those chances come along, and even a chance for some snow that comes along as we look on into our Sunday, and temperatures drop down into those mid to low 40s. We look at the Twin Falls area and some places in the Magic Valley, and we'll see those breezier conditions that come there for Thursday. And then again, unsettled weather that continues there through the weekend, and that's pretty similar from what we're going to be seeing here as we look on ahead in through Boise. Breezier conditions one day into Thursday. We're going to see some of those winds lighten up just a bit and start to see some partly cloudier skies as we're going to see them increase there through the afternoon. Shower chances possible through Friday night, and then those showers continue with a huge drop as you look there from 76 degrees down to 60. So could see anywhere between a 50 to 20 degree drop, and those cooler temperatures continue Sunday into Monday.
And we're going to be looking at the wildfire season. It's been difficult why these furry friends were out on the fire lines in central Washington. Well, crews fighting the Labor Mountain fire in Washington got a much needed surprise. Therapy dogs, Rocket and Gus, went to visit, and they got lots of pets and attention from firefighters. As the fire season now stretches into the fall, first responders often face enormous physical and emotional challenges, and asking for help can be hard. That's where the therapy dogs come in, offering a simple smile and stigma-free support. Therapy dogs like Rocket and Gus are used across the entire country. And it's been a long fire season for sure around the West. It's still going on for a good portion of the area. Though it's sad to see the summer weather leave, which we're seeing in a lot of the Pacific Northwest, we are going to be looking for a little bit cooler temperatures, and finally getting some rain in here is what we really need to really bring the fire season to an end here. And hopefully sometime during this month we'll finally wind that down and get back into some wet and cool weather and some snow at the higher elevations in the mountains for everybody who wants to get out and get on their skis and snowboards and snowmobiles as early as they can. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll be right back here tomorrow morning. Stay with us.